Welcome back to the Lazy Bushman channel. Welcome to another episode of the Reloading Bench. In front of me is not a complete rifle, as you can see. It's actually the stock off my Hale Midland in 243. Now, anyone out there who has had anything to do with the Hale family knows that the Hale has a great name, particularly in military circles. It's been used as a sniper rifle within both the British and the Australian Defence Forces. However, the Midland model, which is what this is, was world renowned in many ways to be as being just a piece of junk. When I bought this rifle, I bought it as something that I didn't really need to be too respectful of. If it got knocked around, getting around the back in the bush or in the back of a car, then hey, that was okay. I just wanted something that was reliable and shot fairly well. I didn't know a lot about the Midland range at the time. Well, certainly not the time I purchased it, but afterwards, and all the reading that I did was basically saying that the thing's a piece of junk, and I discovered that at the time when I was having all sorts of problems with it and was concurring with that sentiment. However, this one's had a little bit of work done to it, and while it was causing me some trouble, it now shoots superbly. I don't think it's the most attractive looking rifle, but gee, it can shoot. It'll shoot a three-leaf clover at 100, yeah, I've got a lot of time for this rifle now. Now that's had a little bit of investment put into it, but a little bit of love and care. As you can see, this particular one is bedded. There's a bit of the epoxy bedding here, raised up over the gives the barrel a bit of a rise over the wooden stock, which floats it. It's only the action is only kept in place with two screws, one near the halfway along the stock and one back at the at the rear of the trigger assembly. This thing did give me a lot of grief, and I lost some really good pigs to this thing. And the problem with it was that it was stove piping when it was feeding. For those who don't know what stove piping is, it's when the bullet is basically loading up, and I don't know if you can see this that well, but loading when it comes out of the magazine, being pushed by the floor plate. This thing, it was pushing up and jamming. Gave me no end of grief. I took it to a gunsmith, he mucked around with it, he put a new floor plate in and other things. It improved it. I messed around with different projectiles, more rounded projectiles and a range of things, and still wouldn't work. In the end, and I don't know why I did it, actually I might have read something on a Seiko forum now, but I can't quite remember. I ended up pulling the spring off the floor plate, off the follower. This is another one. This is in a bag that said Hale bits, but I'm not sure why I've got this, because it doesn't actually fit this rifle, so I'm sort of a little bit unsure. But this spring here, anyway, I basically pulled it off, put it in upside down, and all my feeding problems went away, and it's been a fantastic gun ever since. Before I go too much further, what I'm going to do is just pause the video and just put the thing back together. No one needs to see me just put two screws in. I think anybody can do that, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay guys, we're back. As you can see, I've just put the action back into the stock. Had two screws, as I said, and we're away. Look, it's just a safety up the top. Other than that, it's your general bolt action repeater. The scope I've got on this is a piece of rubbish, because at one point I actually thought about selling it and I thought I'd throw this on. It's just an old Tasco, which is the better models. Old Tasco 6x40 fixed power. I do have a couple of nice 3 to 9s in a Burris and probably something else as well. I may end up switching that over and putting it on here. It does have the bridge mount opposed to the stock mounts, which are more of a weaver style base that goes on this. The other thing too, this is the economical model. The floor plate's plastic. It looks pretty enough, but it's still plastic. And that's really, there's not a lot to say about this. As I said, there's a lot of people had trouble with this, had troubles with the screws and the bases. Tons of people having problems with feeding. I fixed mine, as I said, by turning the spring around. The only thing I really wanted to bring up about this, which is I thought at least was a little bit interesting, was up until about 1990, 92, Parker Hale produced out of England some beautifully performing rifles. They did run into some financial difficulty, and they got bought by Midland Arms, and so this goes by the name of Parker Hale Midland, and I believe the Midland brand is still getting around over in England, though very, very small following, and they make a range of other products now, I believe, other than just firearms. But what was interesting about this particular one was that the company, because of its financial situation, bought a whole stack of these Springfield bolts. So people probably more familiar with the Springfield range of firearms than I will probably recognise this. To me, I just think it's an ugly bolt. We'll probably notice this is a Springfield 03, I think is what they call it, bolt. They bought a whole stack of these, and basically they cast an action around it. Not really the best method of firearms design, but hey, if you can get them shooting, they do shoot great. The other thing about the 243 for me is that it makes it very, very easy to reload. Most of my stuff uses pretty much all the same powders, same shell holdings, because they're all in that larger caliber, based around what was originally a 30 caliber type of bullet, being the 270 I've got, which you saw last time, which is based on a 30-06 case that's neck down. I did have a 30-06, and selling that was something I still regret. It was a beautiful Seiko 30-06 Finbear. And then the 243 and the 7mm 7mm08, both built upon the based on the 308 round. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and zoom in on those two rounds. Probably not showing up very well at all, actually. Very, very similar. They're the same height. The only difference is the 7mm being slightly thicker round, about a millimeter thicker. Basically very, very similar rounds. I shoot. Let me think now. I think I'm shooting 90 grains from memory in the 243. So then I go from 90 grain, then I shoot 140s. I don't normally buy factory rounds, but I bought these a couple of years ago. Still got some left. Yeah, these are 140 grain in the 7mm08, and in my 243 I'm shooting the 90 grains. I could be shooting 100, but I think I'm shooting 90s. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. Like if you like it. If you want to see more shooting or reloading orientated videos, please let me know in the comments. I'm by no means the world's best shooter or the most knowledgeable when it comes to firearms and reloading. I probably know the average or a little bit above. But if you'd like to see more of this stuff, let me know. Hopefully this weekend I'll be out racing my RC cars around somewhere if I get a chance. So maybe I'll do something on that, or who knows what I'll do next. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. God bless.